traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay tribute to their history, their culture and their ongoing contributions to our community. And on behalf of the Greens, thanks very much for inviting us here tonight, and I do give apologies from Jenny Leon and Marie Faruqi. And later we would like to circulate some information from our transport spokesperson. I'd also just like to say that I also really appreciate it personally. My family just lived up here at 46 Erskineville Road, which is now part of the Greenbands Park. I went to Newtown Public School and regularly walked down this street to catch the train to Sydney Girls High from Erskineville Station. So I am very, very much with you in this campaign. It's incredibly important and it's one we can win. Look, we've had some great information tonight, just really laying out what the problem is and what a con job is going on. For the Greens, the issue of public transport is about publicly owned, publicly operated public transport. And I give that emphasis because this metro is not public transport as we know it. And that's something that's really worth exploring what's going on here, because it's very much part of a neoliberal government's agenda in how they deliver to their own constituency. And I think that that's what's worth unpicking. So when we build what has to be a massive campaign, we really know what's going on here. And right now, the people, as we've heard, who lose out, people like yourselves, the people of this area, around St Peter Station, around Erskineville Station, will just lose out enormously because of the reduced services when the Bankstown line is effectively taken over because of this way they're balkanising, they're cannibalising the rail lines under this New South Wales government policy. Now, the Transport Minister, Mr Constance, hasn't turned up tonight, but if he was here, he would be singing the praises of this line. And we've got to call them out and identify the lies that they are using to try and promote this project. In the glossy that many of you would have seen, they've said, they've described it as the quality of rail service never before seen in Australia. Now, we could probably do, some comedians could probably do some good things with that. And that's why we need to get some talent going here to really show and really expose what's going on. Because we know, and the single deck one, you know, like how good were Matt and Jim's descriptions of it, that they're making out that there will be more people being able to travel on something that's half the size. So we can demolish this in so many ways. It's a single deck, it's a separate line, we're seeing that it will mean fewer services, and at the same time, what it means is that $10 billion, again, will be wasted on a transport system that is not for the public. It is for the constituency, the corporate constituency of the Liberal national parties. And it's happening again at the time when there's this massive increase in the population. Now, I know that point's been made, but I want to emphasise it. It's one of our big winning points for this campaign. So let's consider what the government's real agenda here. And I would suggest there are four aspects to what the government is up to. They are trying to divert attention away from WestConnex, a fantastic campaign, and congratulations to everybody who have been out there rattling the chain on that one. Then there is the issue of public housing that Matt dealt with in such an important point. It is really another way to undermine the public housing estate and really destroy the stock of public housing, a long-term agenda, sadly, of both Labor and coalition governments. Then it's also the first stage of breaking up and privatising our rail system. And the fourth, I would argue, is about weakening the unions, weakening the rail, train and bus union, which has represented the workers on our public transport system. So there's four reasons that the government has got a lot hanging off this. So just to go into those in a bit more detail, the WestConnex one. Now, that is really about delivering for their mates. The first job of the Liberal Nationals when they get elected is to deliver for their constituency. That's what you do. Who's their constituency? Corporate Australia. And the big developers, the big motorway builders, they're the people who are out there expecting the contracts to come, and they are coming from the Baird and the Abbott government in terms of billions of dollars. And I would suggest that we need to bring these two issues together. They're trying to cover their tracks because what's been one of the effective aspects of the WestConnex campaign? Highlighting the lack of real solutions for the people of Western Sydney in terms of public transport, and that this is not in any way a solution. It just makes things much worse for the people of this area. And I think we need to bring those two issues together also and be calling for that WestConnex project to be cancelled and the money to go into the expanded public transport services that this area needs now and will need increasingly in other areas as well. So I think that's one area, one point that we have to develop. Then there is the issue about public housing. It's been dealt with very well, but I really did want to give emphasis to that. And Matt mentioned about John Brogden, former Premier, who is now Head of Urban Growth. And who do we have as a Transport Minister? Andrew Constance. I wanted to bring that together. They are mates. They are very close mates. John Brogden, when he was the Leader of the Opposition, parachuted Andrew Constance into the seat of Bega. Now, I can't remember the name of the person he rolled at the time, but it was a big controversy in the Liberal Party. Andrew Constance wasn't from Bega, he had some relatives who were there, you know, from the year dot away, but they are very close. And now there is a real cooperation, and they're driving that agenda together. And part of that agenda is to remove that public housing stock. You know how extensive it has been in the area, particularly around Redfern, and the developers are busting to get their hands on that, is to completely gentrify that area. It is so close to Sydney. The money that will be made is in billions and billions of dollars, and the public housing tenants have a right to stay there, and we must defend that. Then there is the issue about the privatising of rail. This is huge. This is also part of, again, a neoliberal party gets elected to government. What are they to do? But part of their agenda is privatisation. You rarely see that word these days. And again, it's a success of the progressive movement that the word privatisation has been discredited. So the likes of, when they do it to electricity, they'll call it something else. When they do it to transport, they'll call it something else, like we've got a great metro for you. But the result is still the same. It's about breaking up our rail system, and those parts that are profitable, they'll sell off in different ways. And then what goes hand in hand with that is that those private sections of our rail line, they probably won't have a union representing those workers, or it'll be very hard for those workers to be unionised, which then, again, weakens the working conditions, more casual staff, you can bet your bottom dollar. So, seriously, these are issues that we need to analyse, bring together, and to be part of the campaign. I certainly believe it's a campaign we can win. We must win it. The other speakers have given some great ideas, which I support all of them. And I would add to that, I think it's a campaign that we take onto the trains. When I was fortunate to have the transport portfolio for the Greens, that's what we would often do, is get on the trains, you've got your audience there, you talk to them, you give out your leaflets, you get people to sign their letters, the petitions, you can stand there quite seriously and make the speech about, do you know what's going to happen to this rail line? You think it's crowded now, what it's going to be like in the future. Do it on the railway stations. You know, there are so many things that we can do, from the social media to good old-fashioned on-the-street campaigning, because it's a campaign we have to win. Congratulations, and I look forward to campaigning with you. Thank you.